am Leslie Mota. I am on the ground. Welcome everyone to Leslie Mota Unscripted, powered by Meta Warrior and Nilcha Shows. Tonight we've got a real one in the building, and real ones, I should say, because we have a team and names that have been echoing across the Solana streets. So tonight I have General JSP, better known as on X as JSP host. He is not man, I can't even speak tonight. Anywho, JSP is going to have to correct me when he gets in, but Suranovis for crypto developer, community leader, and influencer repping from England, United Kingdom. In the Solana space, JSP is best known as the lead dev behind Army, a community driven meme coin built on loyalty, conviction, and a holding through the chaos. His signature campaign, Operation Loyalty, pushed holders to buy, build, and believe not just for hype, but to grow the ecosystem itself. Now, outside of Army, JSP's become one of the sharpest gem finders in the game, scouting undervalued tokens, advising new projects, and helping the next wave of builders navigate the wild degen market. And when he's not coding or analyzing, you'll catch him hosting Fire X spaces, breaking down market trends, calling bullish plays, and keeping the community energy high. With him tonight, we have Kate Rose, also known as Rosebot Gems on X. Kate Rose is a passionate cryptocurrency enthusiast and community architect who's been immersed in the space since 2017. As a fearless builder and dedicated community manager, she thrives on fostering genuine connections in the high stakes world of Solana based projects, where she's risen to the rank of Colonel in the ranks of Army, a vibrant conviction driven meme coin collective symbolized by its green frog and beret emblem. Kate's superpower lies in her ability to transform newcomers into empowered contributors, turning raw talent into tangible opportunities. She's championed emerging creators like funding aspiring filmmakers to produce standout content that elevates the entire ecosystem, all while emphasizing that true success in crypto isn't just about building bags, it's about uplifting people. And not how do you say it? What do you say it? Last but not least, we have Major Stigmatic, known as Stigmatic XX on X. Major Stigmatic is a steadfast cryptocurrency warrior and unwavering advocate within the vibrant Solana ecosystem, where he serves as a major in the ranks of Army, a dynamic loyalty-fueled meme coin collective known for its green frog emblem and beret-clad Esprit de Corps. As a curator and morale booster, Stigmatic's essence is pure, unrelenting grind. He delivers daily infusions of high-octane optimism, turning market dips into rallying cries with battle-tested mantras like failure isn't an option, and we march as one. Whether hyping strategic reversals, celebrating community raids, or urging soldiers to load up during Operation Loyalty challenges, he embodies the degen resilience that transform red candles into green conquest, always stacking bags for the long haul while calling out scammers to protect the ranks. So please, everybody, say hello to our guest today, JSP, Kate, and Stigmatic. How the heck are you guys doing?
Hey, you guys, I wanted to start off by saying what an incredible introduction. Leslie Motta, thank you so very much for having us on your stream today, and really looking forward to chatting.
It is such a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for saying yes. I think it is a wonderful week to end, with Army coin. You know, we started with an Army Ranger Special Forces last on Monday, and now we're ending with you all. So I am very excited. I see the community in the chat, and very excited to speak with you all three and what you are building and what drives your vision and your mission.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. Again, shout out to all the Army family tapping in as well. And as I said, it's an absolute honor to be on this show. And it's a great way to start your week with Army and end your week with Army as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Kate, how are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. And Leslie, thank you so much for those incredible introductions. Just starting my day here in Asia, and I couldn't think of a better way to with you and the Army crew here today. So excited for everything.
I love it. Thank you. Stigmatic, how are you, my friend? Are you back?
I'm doing great. It happened again. Like it's like our little army chipmunks, speaking really fast and high tones. So I was like, let me just jet out real quick and come back in. No, we're good. I,
Oh
I'm
my
I'm
God,
doing
not
great.
the
Like I said,
chipmunk.
yeah, I was looking forward to this all day today, as I told you, man. Just super, super, super.
Yeah, absolutely. I love this. Look, thank you all for coming on with me because I know that we are on opposite sides of the end. Kate, it is super early for you. JSP, it is very late for you. So thank you so much for it's what, midnight for you right now?
Yeah, it's just gone after midnight, quarter past 12 in the morning. But, there's no place I'd rather be than here, Leslie. So thanks again.
No, I appreciate you for staying up late and coming on this live stream. And Stigmatic, is it late or early for you? Oh, he might have a little bit of challenges today, but look, I think my internet problems that I was having earlier, I might have passed it on to him. But he can he hear us? No. Okay, well, while he comes back, JSP, let's get started. Before we do get started, I do want to shout out all of your community that is in the chat. So while we wait for him to come up, I am going to bring the chat really quick so we can say hello. And you have your army community in the chat. We have Major Apple John. We have Gina saying hi. Man, your crew goes crazy. They go strong.
Yeah, absolutely. Community is the heart and soul of this project, and we show up in numbers. So, yeah, it's great to see everyone in the chat there. I see Major Leo as well, Major Grizzly in the chat too. So, shout out to all of you guys for tapping in.
Yes, thank you. Because without a community and without a team, it is difficult to get to the levels that we want to get to, isn't it?
I absolutely agree. Yeah, you're totally right. For a project to really reach its potential, you need to have a solid community. I mean, it's the heart and soul of any project. I always say it. So, and it's absolutely true. And that's how we show up, Leslie. Wherever we go, we show up as an army and we stick together.
Yeah, I've seen it, and one of the amazing things that I've seen, JSP, about what you are building is that you actually started building the community prior to launching the project. And a lot of people that do want to build in this space, it is very difficult. One of the things that we've seen time and time again, that they launch a project and then they try to build a community, but you actually began to build it way out prior to even launching. And what I found it very fascinating is that you have built a reputation in this space. There's a lot of people that follow you, and they trusted your vision, they trusted what you were building without even knowing the name of the project. How did you accomplish what you did when others have not been able?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Great question as well. So my time in the space, I actually got into the space when Pepe was igniting
Oh yeah.
Web3. So it was about 2.5 years ago, and I came from the NFT space where I was promised I was promised financial freedom with NFTs, and it didn't go very well. But I started off as a Spaces host for an NFT project actually, and then that turned into sort of a paid job, and they wanted me there full time, and then Pepe brought me into the meme coin space, and I started becoming more and more involved with spaces. And the very first project was GME, and I just stepped forward as a community member ever to host spaces for that project. We actually started doing that at sub $1 million market cap, and it ran up to around 94, 95 million, which was an incredible journey. You can only imagine how the community grew throughout that time. So it was very, very special, and that real entry into the space as a spaces host will always be dear to my heart. But it brought me some recognition in the space, and from there I got scouted for some other big projects. Got a lot of great breaks, and hosted spaces with some great people like Jake Gagan, Mario Norfa. I've been on one of the spaces, some exchanges, things like that. So I really got my name out there in the space, and throughout all of this, I also connected with a lot of great people. Right, being a spaces host for a lot of great projects, I met a lot of the great devs in the space, some really amazing KOLs, and lots of people on the journey. And when it came to Army, the way that I really built the project prior to actually launching was I was actually coming off the back of a lot of momentum in my call channel. So I'm in the trenches. I'm a degen at heart, right? So we got a lot of great calls in the call channel. We called a 1500X, we called a 300X 2 weeks before. And this was really life-changing money for a lot of people. So I made a lot of people a lot of money in a very short space of time, and I knew that I'd have the support of all of these people just based on my reputation in the space. And the fact that they trusted me, right? Because throughout my call channel, I always ran it with integrity, right? I always had the community's best interest at heart, and that really sort of, I think, shone through. So, we started recruiting people from the existing community, from my Telegram channel, that were excited for the launch. And we started putting them into positions of responsibility. And what I mean by that is, we opened a moderator group, we opened an artists group for meme creators and content creators. We opened a spaces speakers group, and we incentivized people in these groups by giving exclusive giveaways and things of that nature. So the community at this point, they were really trusting in what I was looking to build. Because of my calls previously, I think that people had a lot of faith in my ability to scout a good narrative, scout a very good narrative in the space. So I think they entrusted me in terms of, the narrative of this project, and having the ability to be able to find a gem narrative that, people could latch onto and really enjoy being a part of.
Oh, absolutely. JSP. Now, when you were thinking of the names, did you already have the name, or did it take a while for you to solidify and be like, you know what, this is the name that I want, and this are the reasons why? When you decided to say, I am at this point where I do want to launch, a meme coin token, did you come across like different type of memes or different type of names, different, like, what
I
got you
I
to the point
did.
that you selected this one?
Yeah, I did. I mean, it was a long journey to get to Army. There were a lot of different ideas, and I was floating them by, close friends and getting feedback and things of that nature. And I always had an element of doubt about previous narratives that were on the drawing board, right? There was always that
Mhm.
element of doubt. And for me, I wanted to land on something where I strongly felt as though there was zero element of doubt that this was bullish. And I was looking at Army, and the first thing that I considered was, okay, it's a four-letter ticker, right? And what does Army stand for? It stands for honor, right? It stands for
Right.
collectiveness. It stands for pushing together. So moving with honor, living by a code, that sort of thing. So that was when I landed on Army as a ticker. I really felt strongly that this was something that was incredibly bullish. It hadn't run before. Four-letter ticker, of course. But I was really looking at pushing Army as, like, in terms of the meme, I was really looking at it as being hyper realistic,
Yeah.
right? And then it landed on my lap that the collective noun for a group of frogs in the wild is known as an army, right? And that was just like a light bulb moment, because we know the market loves a frog narrative. We've had Pepe in the billions, Turbo Toad, Frog, Apu. There are so many to name that have done incredibly well, and it just all began to make sense. And as I said, I had doubts about everything else, and it was incredibly important not to have a doubt. So, when we landed on Army, and then realized it was the collective noun for a group of frogs, it just totally made sense to me.
No, it completely makes sense. There was so much anticipation before you launched. It's like the possibilities. And I don't think, well, at least for me, when you launched it, and then when I saw the name, I was like, okay, it makes so much sense. And prior to, like, I would have never thought that this was, the name that you had selected for the meme coin token, but it's just, it makes so much sense. And then you added rankings to that, and then you just started building off of there's like so much that you can build off that it just made complete sense. But you do you're you're not
The other
doc.
th- I
Yeah.
mean, the other thing that was incredibly important to me was the fact that, army, it, like, we are in the meme coin space, right? And
Mhm.
content is king.
Yeah.
So I knew that with army as well, that the content potential was unlimited, right? There's so much that you
Yes.
can do with the army narrative. So frogs, army, living by honor, living by code, unlimited content potential, four-letter ticker. Really everything was adding up to me, and there wasn't a single element of doubt in my mind. And of course, I ran this by some of the advisors to the project, of which we have some incredible advisors behind this project. Devs that have run their own projects into hundreds of millions. So, it's important to me. It was important for me to build this infrastructure out prior to launching and have great people around me that have walked paths like going to much higher levels, right? And people
Mhm.
that understand the game, that understand psychology, that understand culture. It was very important for me to have them close by, and I'm honored to say that they're advisors to the project now. And when I floated this idea by them, army, the frog narrative, and everything else, everybody was incredibly happy with it and thought it was a really great idea. So we went with it after that.
It makes complete sense. It's like looking back and then looking to where you are now with what you've built. It just, I think, I don't know, I love it. But you are not doxxed. I know that you recently had a trip, and you got to meet some people in public. But the question that I want to ask you, with Operation Loyalty, fresh in the rear view, rewarding net buys and unyielding holds, how has leading from the shadows as General JSP amplified your ability to test true devotion in a space riddled with paper hands and what's unseen order? You've issued that reshaped Army's unbreakable court culture, because right in this space is very difficult, especially when you're not doxxed, and to keep that loyalty, to keep that what you've built with your army. How do you continue to do that?
Yeah, I think one of the best advantages that I have is that I'm vocal, right? A lot of projects in the space, although I'm not doxed by face, and I was actually in Singapore at Token 2049 where I did dox and meet a lot of great people that I've known from the space for a long time. I think one of the main advantages that we have as a project is that I'm quite vocal, and I've come from the spaces background, and I've run spaces for projects that have multiple projects, more than three or four, that have hit incredibly high market caps and therefore had massive communities. So I
Yeah.
think that the my ability to speak, my ability to rally the troops, keep everybody together, keep everybody bullish, is an incredible advantage that we have. If you look at a lot of projects, as I said, you don't get any conversation with the dev. You might get a few messages in the Telegram or something once in a while, but certainly most of them are not vocal, and 99% are not doxed as well. So I'd say that it's a great asset that we have, and it's not just myself. The rest of the
Mhm.
team, the leadership around me. We've got some incredibly great speakers, a couple of whom we have with us today as well. So it's a group of people that just really believe in something and just will not take no for an answer. And it's the ability to articulate in the space, and to be a vocal presence, I think, is a massive asset.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now, from building beyond bags, JSP, in spaces where you've quoted, we aren't just building community, we are building people. How do you measure a soldier's growth from raw enlistee to raid leader? And like funding Ubata's art films, has that ever forced you to confront the limits of a dev's influence in a degen ecosystem?
I think maybe Kate, I could chuck this one to Kate, because she's our community manager, and we're really about empowering our community and really, bringing people up in the space. And that tweet where I wrote that we're building people. we're very, very, very supportive of our community members. And I've said it in previous spaces, and that is, if you've ever wanted to build a platform for yourself, if you've ever wanted to start podcasts, YouTube videos, whatever it might be, content creation, like
Mhm.
Army is the place that you can call home where you will have maximum support from everybody. And, it's an incredible place to be, because consider wanting to start a YouTube channel, for example. You will immediately have 200 plus subscribers on your channel, you know, commenting on your videos and things like that. So, we really like to empower from within. I think that
Yeah.
that's incredibly powerful, and you know, people gravitate towards that. People want to be recognized. I'm a real believer in recognizing people's efforts in the project, and that's exactly what we do. I think I'll chuck it over to Kate, because Kate is Kate. I have to say is. I've been in a part of a lot of projects, you guys. I've been a part of a lot of projects, and I've come across a lot of people that run communities and things of that nature. And I'm telling you guys that Kate Rose, she is the best in the game. She's the best at what she does. She's the best at managing and building community. And as soon as I saw her talent and I was considering what to do with Army, I had to grab her and say, Kate, you need to be a part of this. But I'll chuck it over to you, Kate. And yeah.
Thank you, JSP. And, I could not agree more about empowering people from within. We just set up a bunch of structure in the beginning, set these groups up, offered education within rating and mod, if people were new or had some experience. And just watching the people like, light up from learning something new and being lifted up from, really embodying that and moving that energy into the community. And, it just created a force. The more we encourage people, people would learn more and then, pass that knowledge on to other people. And next thing you know, we're all just growing beautifully together as a community and a well-oiled machine that just flows in everything we do. And, at this point, we're over 2 months old and everyone's settling into their roles and just continuing to put effort forth more and more each day. And it's been really powerful to witness and be a part of. My own personal growth along with everyone else has been immense, and I'm just looking forward to see how everything continues to grow in the next few months and so on from there. But this community is unparalleled. I've managed some really mammoth communities and hundreds of million-dollar market cap, up to 25,000 people. But Army, and everyone has been so special, but Army like holds this energy that's unlike anything else. The conviction, it's more genuine than anything I've seen. And yeah, this community, I'm grateful every day for.
Uh,
It is truly an amazing community. What I wanted to ask Kate and JSP, I'll go to you before she answers. But one of the things that I do want to ask Kate, because I've met Kate through the timeline, in interaction. But then, a few months ago we got more acquainted. So what I know about Kate is that she's also very particular about the communities that she works for, that she invests in, and that she gives her time to. And I wanted to understand, what was it about the Army community and working with JSP that you were like, you know what, I am going full in and I am going to help build out what he is building and trust. And I see his vision and his mission of where he wants to go.
So basically, we worked on this project previously before this, and his integrity really shined through. I saw that he wasn't looking just to be a part of anything, that he had true morals and values, and that he really cared about people. And, I felt in alignment with that because in the crypto space, it's super rare to see people
Mhm.
caring about other people. And I feel like that's been the missing link in this space. I've been like trying to manifest a project with like every missing link there is. And the biggest thing is integrity and heart from like the core of the team, from the dev down. And, it enables me to put my heart and soul into a project even more when I see that it's about the people.
Yeah. JSP, were you going to add to that?
Yeah, I would just also, Kate's got me blushing over here. No, I'd also say, just with regards to, uplifting community and keeping engaged with everybody, we do certain things that other projects probably don't do. Kate runs weekly VCs with every group in the background, from our raiders to the leadership team, to, the content creators and such. And I'd also say that in our community there are a lot of incredibly talented people, right? Very, very
Yeah.
talented people that are all community members and have just come in since pre-launch, joined, for example, the content creation group. And with Army, there's a great opportunity to learn, right? So I circle back to people wanting to build their own platform to be able to provide some value in the space. Like this is a project in a community where you can learn from others, and I think that that's ultimately what everybody wants, right? You want to
Yeah.
grow, you want to learn, you want to build, and things of that nature. So yeah, I just wanted to add that as well.
That's awesome. So so is Kate the one that assigns the ranks? So when, new community members come in, or if you already have community members that are working towards ranking, who does that assignment and how do you come about it? And how do you decide which ranking or type of ranking your community
Sure.
member is going to have?
Sure, Kate, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, of course. So it basically JSP and I, we get together and we discuss everything that's happening within the community, and we decide on the higher ranks for everything, but we make it a really collaborative experience with all leadership. All of the majors have an input on who they feel is working hard and contributing and supporting everyone.
I love
Yeah,
that.
so there are no real set metrics, right? But
Mhm.
we give rankings based on participation, right? But the way that we approach it is that it shouldn't be an expectation, right? It should not be an expectation. It should be you enjoying the community, putting in time and effort, and being recognized for the work that you're putting in and being rewarded for that. So, our ranks and reward system is incredibly generous. The majors getting a $500 bag per month of Army, a 1 year Telegram subscription. The captains are getting a $250 one-time bag, lieutenants are getting a $200 one-time bag, and so on and so forth, right? And the genius of the ranking system is that more often than not, if somebody is participating heavily in order to get a
Mhm.
rank and they receive that rank, right, and they get that title, it's a sense of empowerment, right? The rank comes with certain responsibilities. And also, chances are that as a community member, you're going to continue to work hard to climb up the ranking system, right? And to get your way all the way to the top. And I'm sure Stig can speak on this if Stig's around, because, Stig is somebody who's been with us since
Yeah.
pre-launch, and he'll share his story. But I know that he, when he saw the ranking system, he wanted that major rank, right? He wanted to climb up the ranks and he wanted to become a major, and he absolutely achieved that. And he's now an integral part of this community. Stig, if you're there, you want to talk a little bit on this?
Yeah, yeah, I think I finally figured it out. Am I coming in audible?
You are.
Yeah, I hit the link in Telegram, and it opened in Telegram and had Telegram in the background, so I think
Oh
I
my
think we might be
goodness.
fine now.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have to say honestly, that ranking system truly, truly is something amazing. And you wouldn't know unless you were in there grinding with us and actually getting these promotions. Um, I explain to everybody all the time. I've been a part of a lot of big projects, and I have put my heart and soul into every single thing that I've invested my money into and my time, and have never ever been shown any sign of appreciation. I mean, you're talking, I would do 3 spaces a day for some of these projects. I would be woken up at like 11:30 at night, like, hey, we are supposed to be on a Coimer space and we have nobody to speak for. Can you wake up and do it? And I'm up doing it just to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning for my, to
Wow.
run my business. And with, again, no appreciation, never even heard what the dev sounded like, so when JSP says he's vocal, that alone is also very much appreciated. But when the project launched, I had no idea about any of the that there would be a ranking system at all. And but me being me, I was gonna put my all into it. The minute that it launched and the minute there was a Telegram open, I DM JSP and I'm like, hey, just make me an admin. I want to do everything that I can do to help the project. And we had just recently, had some one-on-one time for another project that I had been representing, and I had really encouraged them to sign JSP as a partner. which is, one of the projects that I put my all into, and was really never shown appreciation. No community, support, no team support, nothing. And then once the ranking system came out, that by itself wowed me. I was like, holy, like really? And then announcing all, the bags and everything. And then that first space that we had, oh my God, I still remember it. We were having this mega space, and I mean, again, it's kind of one of them things where you gotta like be there, because at the end of the day, this is magic internet money, and we're PFPs on the internet, and how can something like this make somebody feel so honored? But when they called my name and they gave me that first lieutenant promotion, it like literally put a smile on my face from ear to ear. My heart was racing, and I was like, "What? How cool is this?" And then just
Yeah.
and it was and forget the money that was coming with it. It was just the appreciation that we were being shown as community members who, how our mentality is. We work for our bags. Well, the majority of us do anyway. And just it was just an amazing, amazing feeling. Really, just that show of appreciation. I can't even explain it.
And it shows with everyone, with all of you, the way you all speak about one another, the way you guys speak about your dev, JSP, the way that, Kate speaks about you all. It's just, I think what you guys are building, it is very contagious. It is always very heartwarming. And the community, it's like they're very supportive, and it's just an amazing thing. But I think what is, I don't know if I've heard of it or I just haven't paid attention, but a community that rewards its members and ranking. You guys have a ranking reward system. How crazy and incredible is that?
It's unheard of. Honestly, I mean, I dare anyone to find another project in this space doing what JSP is doing for this community, and as much as he's given back to the community like he's done. I mean, really, I'm pretty sure you'll be hard pressed to find it.
I don't know if I've heard of it. I mean, I've heard of, what is it, the rewards, if you hold and then you get certain rewards depending on, certain stable coins or whatnot. But a system that you actually work, you grind, and you feel valued and appreciated, I don't know if I've heard of one. Can you guys tell me?
I
No,
can't. I think we're one of the first movers, if not the first mover, and it's incredibly important to give back and to and for people to get that recognition for the time and the
Mhm.
effort that they put it in. And too many devs in this space are too greedy, right? They're so greedy, and there's no longevity in that, right? I want to build something here that has longevity, and I like to lead by example as well. And I don't expect anyone to do anything that I wouldn't do myself, right? Like, I'm incredibly active in all the groups. I attend the VCs if I'm available to, the weekly VCs, and I also raid with the community in the raid VCs. I jump in the VC as much as I can, and I'm as active as I can possibly be, right? So,
Yeah.
I answer all my DMs. Like, I get back to community members, because this project is nothing without the community, right? You guys are
Yeah.
absolutely everything to this. So, without recognition, and like, I don't look at myself above anybody else. I don't look at anybody in this community behind me. I look at these soldiers standing beside me, and I'm honored that people speak so highly, not only of myself, not only of the leadership team, not only of Kate, but also of the project, right? I think, it speaks volumes. And you hear it in all of our spaces as well, like, we regularly host spaces, community driven and team driven as well. We're always in the VCs, and that energy is always the same. It's you can't buy that kind of energy, Leslie. You just can't buy it.
You cannot. Okay, so GSP, JSP. I'm stuck on the general. You are, what I'm understanding from your community and everybody around you is that you're a very kind, giving person, and you want to give back, and you want to reward. And yes, you're correct. There are a lot of devs out there that, are greedy, selfish, and don't give back. It's like everybody expects communities to grind, work for your bags. And, if you hold a bag, it's like, you're working for your bag, so you have money. But I always say that sometimes you don't even know what it really means to give until you have nothing to give, or you just give, because you're giving from the kindness of your heart, but where does that stem from that you decided to create something where, like, you know what, my community members are grinding, my people are grinding, and I want to make them feel value, seen, heard, special, and I am going to create the system where I reward them back. Where does that stem from?
Yeah, I think it comes down to the nature of the person. To be quite honest, I think I've always been like that in life, and it's it's evident, and people appreciate that, because there's plenty to go around. There really is. There's no need to be greedy in the space, and things like that. And we're
Yeah.
always doing giveaways. We're always, we've got weekly. I'm sure Kate can speak a little bit about, we do weekly giveaways. Most recently we had a VC, and somebody came up with a brainwave. They said, let's do a push-up challenge, right? So everybody started getting on camera doing a push-up challenge, right? And with every push-up, they were saying "Army on Solana." So it was "Army on Solana," "Army on Solana," and we got some really great content out of this. But when I found out that these guys were doing this in the VC, I jumped in and I just said, you guys, whoever participates in this, we'll do some giveaways for you, and just gave a bag of Army to everybody that participated. And it's all about involvement and participation, right? I think
Yeah.
we've forgotten about the real essence of why we're here, and that is for community to grow, to learn, to add value, and also for financial gain as well. But if you can be in an environment and surround yourself with great people and enjoy working for your bag, or whatever it might be, enjoy cracking jokes in the VC, listening to music together, whatever it might be, that's incredibly important. And I think that the space has forgotten that, right? And we're really
Oh
trying to
yeah.
bring that, we're trying to bring that energy back. And like, there's so much PTSD in the space. People are so shaken. They're scared about being farmed. A lot of people have been wrecked. The mentality is to jump from project to project, get a 2x, rotate. But this is about longevity, right? And I've spoken to some of the most successful traders in the space over my 2.5 years, 3 years in this space. And there's a common factor amongst all of them in terms of the biggest win that they've ever had, or the most money they've ever made, the life-changing gains. And that is that they believed in something. They believed in a project from an early stage. They got involved. They built a name for themselves. And they saw success inevitably come along with that in terms of financially. So I'm a true believer in just building, growing, and just welcoming people with open arms. So yeah, I think ultimately, and to answer your question, it comes down to the nature of the person.
Yeah. And then this question can be for, all of you guys, because we are in a space that is addicted to instant gratification. What keeps all of you patient enough to play the long game with what you're building?
You want to go, Kate?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I've been in crypto for a long time, 2017, and that in itself has taught me patience. I've always been a very patient person, though, and we're here in this community where everyone's just, we're growing together, enjoying our time together. So it really doesn't take much patience when you create an atmosphere that is just enjoyable and you can focus on the journey, and rather than every up and down throughout the market.
I like that. Focus on the journey.
Yeah, I
It's
think
the only
when
way.
I think when financial reward isn't the primary motive, it changes the whole game. It
Yeah.
changes the whole game. When you're not making money and greed and things like that as the primary motive, you look at things differently. And I know what we've built is it's incredible. It's beautiful. I mean, Stigmatic, you heard him speak. He's a community member. Kate has been with me since day dot and built this up from the ground. And as people that are experienced in the space, and guys, I've done meme coin shill spaces, I've hosted spaces for projects, I've seen hundreds if not thousands of projects, hundreds if not thousands of communities. And I'm telling you guys that this one is just different. The vibe, the energy, the consistency, the commitment, these are the kind of community members that don't bother looking at the chart, because, and I say it all the time, community strength precedes price, right? As long as the
Yeah.
community is strong, the heart and soul is strong, then price is going to follow. So yeah, I think that when financial reward isn't the primary motive, that's when you can be patient.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Kate, I do have a question for you, because I want to know, how do you balance being the heart of the community, giving endlessly without burning yourself out?
Well, I do take moments to myself every now and again, and that's the beauty of the team that we've built. You know, we've kind of built a culture around nobody working themselves to death. And even though I find it hard to not work 16 to 18-hour days, even with that support, you know, we're just creating an atmosphere where everyone can realize that we're here for the long haul and lift each other up, remind each other to take good care of themselves. And it seems to be working for all of us. You know, we're balancing and, you know, pushing forward and continually growing throughout it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But is it even working if you love what you do?
Exactly. That is the heart of it,
Exactly.
Leslie.
Yes.
100%.
You
Because, you
know,
know,
go for it.
I mean, community is everything to me. Like watching people around me grow and have passion, like it fills me up and lifts me up. And that's the contagious energy that we all feel here.
It's addictive, right? It's like when you love what you do, when you're surrounded with people that you love being around, it's the time goes by so fast and it doesn't even feel like you're working. It's like you really are enjoying what you're doing.
I love it, Leslie. I'm so passionate and just love this space so much. And like, I've stepped back from my IRL business here in the UK, and like,
Oh, wow.
I'm all in, right? I'm full time, in this space, and it's because I'm passionate and I love it. And I think that if you're passionate about something, organic, like naturally, you're gonna excel, right? Because you're putting the time, the effort, you have the patience, you're building, you're growing, and you're enjoying every moment of it. So I think it's incredibly important to be passionate about what you're doing, and I'm just so pleased that I'm passionate about this space and what we've built.
Exactly. Okay, so this question can go for any of you, and then if a stigmatic is more stable, I do want to ask him a question because I want to know if he truly is a Dallas Cowboys fan. Cowboy hands. Why did I say hand? Look, you guys saw my intro. I kept spelling and saying words. I don't know if I want to speak Spanish or English or what it is, but anywho, he is a Dallas Cowboys fan. But I want to kind of tie a question with what he's building and his mentality with that. But before we go to that, this space, crypto, it at times can feel chaotic, especially recently, even lonely at sometimes. I don't know if you guys ever feel like that. What role does empathy play in keeping the DGen army united through the chaos that we've recently experienced?
I think that empathy is everything, literally. I think it's the heart and soul and the heartbeat of our community that we just, you know, have compassion and understanding and love for the person next to us. And yeah.
I love that. It is. If you don't have
Yeah,
empathy, can you survive?
yeah, I'd echo exactly what Kate said. Compassion and understanding is incredibly important. Not only have we gone through ups and downs in the market, we survived the biggest liquidation event and et cetera, et cetera. It's incredibly volatile, but people have ups and downs in real life as well, right? You have to remember that a lot of people in the space, they have families, they have children. There are ups and downs in life, and life's always going to throw you things. And I think that, the way that we've really structured this community is so powerful because when somebody steps back and has things that they need to tend to or whatever it might be, not only are they getting FOMO that they're missing out in what's going on in army, which is incredibly, special, but also,
Wait, did I lose him? Oh, okay. No, it cut off. Okay. Did I lose you guys?
No, I don't know if you can hear me still. I think maybe he's glitching momentarily.
sorry, I have no idea what happened there. Can you hear
I
me?
was like, please don't let it be me.
No,
Yes, we can
sorry.
hear you now.
Sorry, you guys. Yeah, no, I've lost my train of thought. I don't, I don't even
No,
know.
that's no, you were saying something really special and amazing there. I do want to ask Stigmatic a question if he's there.
Yeah, yeah, I'm here.
Okay, perfect. So you live by the model failure isn't an option. What's one failure that actually made you a better soldier or better community member?
A failure? Um,
Yes.
I okay, so I think in the past it was at first getting in,
Yeah.
green, still green. I think a lot of the failures that I had at the beginning was giving up giving up on a community too easily. Because you remember when things start to kind of get crazy at the beginning of a project, and everything's loud, and everything's, going crazy, it's hard to read in a chat. It's easy to be there and it's easy to partake. But then once things start to die down, the hardest part is showing up, especially in times where, in the past where you kind of felt like you were by yourself.
Yeah.
And, I'd take those times to just be like, okay, scrub it and move on to the next one. Um, just to kind of see later on that, it was momentary lapses and then, things started to shoot up anyway and they were gone. And I'm like, okay, well, I got to eat that one. So, I'm 2 cycles in now. And I have learned throughout these past couple of years, how to kind of engulf myself in the community and make myself a leader. And making myself a leader makes me hold myself accountable for everything that I do and to help everyone else be accountable for the things that they do. So, that those failures that I had in the past is, giving up on communities has helped me be stronger to, kind of help advise everybody else, not to give up when things get hard.
I like that. And I like that you say failure is not an option because even though we do see certain things as failures, it's like, what did we learn from it? Can we pick up from that or can we pivot and rebuild better?
But yeah,
But
no, we're not giving up. This is long term, guys.
yeah, I have Preston in the chat. Preston, he is a soldier or he was a soldier in the army. And he is, wait, is this the army a branch in the military? It is, before you guys answer that, I do want to show something to our people that are watching, and then we can tap into your what is the army, what you guys are building for the people that are just tuning in from different social medias. And then I'll go back to the question that I want to ask Stigmatic. That includes the Cowboys. So, with that being said, everybody stay tuned. We will be right back.
From silence we rose, from struggle we formed, forged by JSP, united transformed. Army, the code, the creed, the flame, strength and honor, remember the name. Step by step, we move as one. Disaligned hearts, the march begun. Bound by will, our spirits high. We lead the change, we never die. We are the army, fearless and true. Unity force in all we do. For honor, for power, the mission's begun. Army forever, we march as one. Stand as one! Stand as one! Strength and honor! Strength and honor! March! Army! 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 We march as one! We are the army, army, born of the brave. No chain can bind, no soul enslaved. Led by JSP, the battle is won. Army forever, we march as one. Led by JSP, for every soldier, for every believer. Army, strength, unity, discipline, dominance! Army! Strength, unity, discipline, dominance.
Okay, so when I saw that, that's your guys' anthem now, right? That I thought that was so dope.
Wow, are you not entertained? That was amazing, guys. So that was created by a community member, right? That's been with us for a very, very long time, and he's actually a major, got major ranking, Major Ubada, right? One of the best content creators, if not, no, not even one of the best content creator in the space, has come through our community, rise through the ranks, and that is actually episode 8 of a series, right? So he's
Yeah.
brought out 8 episodes, similar, like same quality, different storylines. And I think Kate works very, very closely with Major Ubada as well to script these things, and they're just incredible pieces of content. I mean, were you feeling the energy during that?
Oh yeah. So because I was going through the feed and I was like, okay, what videos or little commercials? Because I had already seen that your community was posting some of the videos, and sometimes if they have a kind of like a little commercial or something type of video, I was like, I'll play it, I'll upload it. And when I saw that one and it was played for the first time, it's like I felt the vibe, I felt the energy. I don't know what I felt. I'm like, this is the one that I have to play.
Yeah, all of them are incredibly special, and I implore anybody who enjoyed that last episode, episode 8, to check out the entire series. It's been posted across the timeline on the main Army account there on the Army Coin Solana is the X account. So yeah, I mean, incredibly entertaining, incredibly emotive, something different in the space, and very uplifting, I would say. So yeah, incredibly talented people in the ranks of the army.
That is amazing. So, Kate, you help with the creation of these videos. How do you guys come up with the storyline?
Well, I've helped with many of them, and Ubada and I just talk back and forth. He'll share his inspiration, and I'll kind of build upon it. Make little additions or edits here and there, just to kind of bring more heart into it. But I mean, just watching him create inspires me, and it makes it so easy just to collaborate and support each other. But I feel obviously compared to what Ubada does, it's very, very minimal. He is just talented beyond words and such a heartfelt good person. The gratitude and integrity and loyalty that comes out of him, it just shines through in all of his work, and I'm just so proud.
That is truly amazing work. I mean, everything that I went down his profile looking at him because I know he was tagged when he posted that. I don't know how I came across it, and I was like, this is actually the videos and everything that you guys are creating. I'm like, they're freaking dope AF.
Yeah, I'd also say like the way that Ubada has grown like into his role and within the project has been incredibly special. An incredibly special sight to behold. And it goes back to what I was saying before about, us uplifting people that have always dreamt about doing things in the space and supporting them. And, Ubada actually came onto a space the other day and said that he's been offered more work, right, to content create for other projects. And I have no doubt that not only will he be getting offers like that, but he'll also be involved in the cinematic side of things, and I can't wait to see him grow further. And it's just a very special sight to behold.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's incredible that you are around people that just want to help grow the brand, grow what you are doing, and then create just dope stuff. But I do have a question for Stigmatic. The question that I have for you is, you often blend sports mentality with crypto grind. So, how does the mindset of a Dallas Cowboys fan mirror the patience required in the market? Because being a Cowboys fan, you have to have a lot of patience.
I love that you did your research.
Are you firing shots here, Leslie? What's going on? Is she firing shots here,
Absolutely
Major?
not.
Oh man. Okay. So that goes hand in hand with my other favorite saying that I'm constantly putting in the Telegram, and that is that patience pays. Um, growing up as a Cowboys fan was great when I was a
Yeah.
kid. I got to see the likes of so many superstars, and then over the years, I had to stay committed. Um, because while the rest of my family who were Cowboys fans jumped bandwagons and went over to other teams, I stuck with it, and that's one thing about me is I stay committed. Everything that I touch, I am fully committed, and it's the same thing with crypto, and I'm very picky with the things that I put my name behind, and when I do put my name behind something, I am 110% committed, and I am giving every single ounce of my being, whether that be, through voice, or whether that be through raids, or whether that be for the first time ever in this project, I started to create, and I've made all these PFPs to dress everybody, so that way we look and as an army. So yes, if I had to say anything, if I had to relate, sports and crypto at all with being a Dallas Cowboys fan, at the end of the day, it's absolutely it's patience.
Look, I know you're loyal when you're a Cowboys fan.
Very. Here I am,
I
you
have to
know.
say, Stig is one of the most loyal people in this space. I have to put my hand on my heart and say that. And the work that he's put into Army has been
I appreciate you,
invaluable.
brother.
Like the PFPs that have been created, you see his, mine, Kate's as well. And it takes time to do these things, and you have to be passionate about it, right? You have to. It doesn't feel like work. And I actually asked Stig, how much time do you think you've invested in creating these PFPs? Because for us as well, like, and I know Stig's particular about this, there's something to be said for uniformity, right? Like, imagine jumping.
Oh, he cut out again.
I've lost you guys. Can you hear
There
me?
you go.
Yeah, being uniform with your PFPs and things like that is incredibly important. And I asked Stig the other day, how much time do you think you've invested in this? And he said, I've probably made about 40 to 50 PFPs. They take around 2 or 3 hours to make each. So at least
Oh, wow.
100 hours, at least 100 hours in creating these PFPs. So incredible.
That is
Thank you.
incredible work. I mean, and I have looked at some of these PFPs. There is so much detail. Did you study the uniforms? Like, help me understand, the way that your mind works and how you created these and your thought process.
So it's actually, I, I I don't know. I don't know if it sounds silly or not, but what I do is, every time I approach somebody who now we're starting to get to the point where I'm making them for the ones that I feel that we feel deserve them, because now we're getting to the point where we do have a lot of members joining in, and there's a lot of people that are actually wanting them now, because at the beginning it's tough to get somebody to change their PFP. But now that a lot more people want them, I mean, my process goes as this: I give sort of like a small interview, if you
Mhm.
may, with somebody through the DMs, and I'm like, hey, tell me a little about yourself, maybe where you're from, maybe something that you're into, or anything, because I want to make each and every one of these personal for the person that I'm making them for, so that way it's more special to them, so that way they're okay with changing their PFPs on all their social medias. So, like, there was a guy from Scotland, Colin. His name is Colin, and we had spoke, and I had asked him where he was from. He told me he was from Scotland and whatnot, and I made him a traditional, like, Scottish military uniform with the Scottish beret and everything, and the same thing. I spoke with Kate. We had a little conversation. I'm like, like, let me know, what you want yours to look like. Give me your favorite color for a background. A color that you might wear a lot for your clothing. And I really do kind of make these so that way it's you in that frog. Not just something that I just drew up and said, here, wear this. I want it to be special. And as like some of the majors got ranked, like our first major, that had gotten ranked was Applejohn. I went down in the background before he knew, that I was even making one, and I had to really make him one special, with that major hat, and that decorated uniform and everything. And it was tough because he was stuck with the PFP that he had before. And I told him, I said, hey, it's no pressure, but I want you to know that I wanted you to have this because I feel like it should be for you. You have that
Yeah.
major role, and I want you to go out there, and I want you to look the part as well. And just recently, when our general over here changed his PFP in one of the spaces, he decided to do the same, and it was so cool. But yeah, I have a little step by step that I go through with people over the DMs just to make them a lot more special.
So I love that it's not something that you just create, based off of, like NFTs, right? You create a mold and then you build from there. You actually get to know the person that you're creating that PFP for and understanding a little bit about them. I love Kate's PFP, especially with those two guns like right there. I've never shot a
Yeah.
gun, but one day I will. But it's like when I saw her PFP, I'm like, okay, I really dig it. And then when I saw JSP's, I was like, oh my gosh, it just suits them. Now that I'm getting to know you a little bit more, Stigmatic, and I'm looking at your PFP, I'm like, okay, I get it. I understand this now.
Yeah, our ranked guys, I always take a little bit more time. JSP's probably took the most time, just because he's so decorated. I mean, look at him; he looks like a Chad over
Yeah.
there. And I wanted to, personalize it with with his flag in the background and everything. And like I said, I really did want to make them special because people lose their blue checks over this, and people have built brands around their old PFPs and stuff. And I tell everybody all the time, I'm like, hey. We're doing this for the betterment of the project. I'm doing this for the betterment of the project, and I'm finding that time, and I tell everybody, I'm like, hey, I'll make you one. I will, but you have to promise me that you're going to use it because I own, I run a small business, my small business during the day. I'm a father of three. And I'm doing this crypto also, like, I mean, pretty much all day at the same time that I do everything else. And then I'm finding time at night to actually put these PFPs together just like I said, I engulf myself in everything that I do, and I just want everybody to get that profile picture that they are gonna feel honored to wear, and something that's gonna it's gonna be them, like I said in that frog.
I love that. Okay, so did I hear JSP correctly where he said that you were in the army? Because I try to do as much research
No,
about
no,
you,
that
but
was
there's not much.
Applejohn. No, our major
Applejack.
Applejohn
Okay.
was. Yes, yes, yeah. So shout out to him, and we tell him all the time, thank you for your service, and anybody else who might be listening as well. We appreciate
A
everyone.
lot of you do really well in keeping yourselves completely doxxed. I was like, just a little bit of information or nuggets. The Cowboys thing, that was just a little golden nugget. I'm glad that came up.
Yeah,
But
listen, on that topic as well, rest in peace to Marshawn Nealon, who took his own life yesterday due to brain, he had some brain things going on, and some depression he was battling. So as a Cowboys fan, I'd like to just show my respect.
that was a moment of silence. Rest in
Thank you.
peace. And it is such, mental. I think I want to have a live stream about mental issues, and because it's a real thing, men, and we don't talk about it enough. And I think it needs to be said and talked about it a little bit more.
Yeah, and that's one thing we really like, especially Kate. Like, and anytime we're in a leadership chat, if anybody ever feels like they might be just doing too much, she always tells them, she's like, hey, just take some days off. Like, we understand, like, we're not going to look at you in any other way. You need time off, take time off, because a lot of us, we do tend to work until we're burnt out. And, once we're burnt out, mentality starts to change. And we want to keep everybody here in Army nice and fresh and, froggish as ever. And, wanting to come and put all their efforts in. And you can't do that when you're burnt out. And so we really
Mhm.
are a big proponent of mental health, physical health, which is something else that I really do appreciate that we're constantly doing. So shout out to UK for always understanding.
Beautifully said. I do have a question for the three of you. So between the three of you, strategy, heart, and grind, how do you balance differences when leading from such distinct energies? Wait,
I'm
can you
sorry,
guys hear me?
do
Did
we
we rug? Did
lose?
we rug? Did we say that? Can we say that on a live stream? Did we rug?
Yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah.
spaces lately, it's like everybody. It's like X has been so glitchy lately. I'm like, did we rug? Are we there?
I did miss
Um,
the part of the question. It kind of rugged for me for a second there, if you wouldn't mind
Yeah,
repeating, Leslie.
sure. So my question was between the three of you, strategy, heart and grind, how do you all balance the differences when leading from such distinct energies? Because, you guys, at the end of the day, we are humans, right? So we can be patient, empathetic, kind, mellow, whatnot. But sometimes the grind of what you are building, especially like right now, Stigmatic just said that he has, a job, 3 children, and then building, the PFPs. So how do you guys balance your distinctive energies when you are guys are coming together collectively?
Honestly, from, my perspective, everything just seems to flow with this community and this team. Like it's an unspoken it's just unspoken how we lift each other up and we step up where we need to at certain points. We've been a huge proponent of just open communication from the beginning, so it makes it easier for everyone to be able to take care of the things that they need to come together as leaders and bring the energy as we do.
Yes. No, I completely agree. So I have a couple last questions because I know that I guess our internet is starting to act up, and I know JP, it's super late for you, so I still appreciate all your time. So with Operation Loyalty, became a defining moment for your ecosystem. So what did it reveal to all of you about who has been here truly for the mission?
It really felt like, everyone just appreciated so much that it came back to the heart and soul of this community is, giving back to people and recognizing, their loyalty and
Yeah.
to be able to give people a percentage of the supply for just holding strong and reigniting like the reason that we're here, like holding so strong and building together and longevity. And it was a great initiative. And I love to see everyone feel the gratitude amongst receiving, along with the other contests and everything we do, on a weekly basis.
Oh yeah. Now, finally, if each of you could leave one eternal oath for future soldiers entering this space, what would it be? I'm using military lingo and language, since I am speaking with the meme coin army crew.
I think mine would be simple, just lead with
Yeah,
your heart.
I love that. Stigmatic.
Yeah, listen, I really like that we march as one, having that mentality, everybody coming in and sticking together, marching as one big unit.
Yeah,
I'd have to say that. I love that.
I love that. JSP. Oh my goodness. I don't think he's going to be able to. My
He might be
apologies.
he might
Yeah,
be having the same issue I was having earlier.
I
Oh,
know. It's like, what is it doing?
I
Okay,
know.
there he is.
It's like we switch roles over here. Jay.
it's not your fault though, Leslie. This happens all the time with connection and it's been fantastic so far.
Yes, no, absolutely.
It really has.
Oh my god, he went black. Do you guys see him on my screen? So when
Yeah,
it
he's
turns
black.
like
Yes.
that, yeah, he's going to rug again. I'm not sure if it's going to
No.
let him finish. Okay, so we'll try one more time. While we try, Stigmatic, I do
No,
want to
Yeah.
ask
absolutely.
you.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Oh my god, he went black.
Yes,
Yes, we can hear you. Can
Yes,
you hear
sir.
me?
can you
He's
hear me?
back.
Yeah, it turns like that. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
he's going to rug again. I'm not sure if it's going to let him. Is he
Could hear
listening
you in the
and
back.
try? Oh boy. He's gonna come back. Okay. So question for you, Stigmatic.
Yeah.
So as a frontline voice, you protect your community from scans and burnout alike. What's the unseen cost of being that shield?
Um, what's the what? I'm sorry.
The unseen cost of being that shield. You're protecting everybody from burnout, scams, and all that stuff in this space, being that shield. The
Oh, being
unseen
that shield.
cost, yeah, being that unseen cost that nobody like we really don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly. I do it for the love of the community. On
Yeah.
just because listen, I've been around for so long. It's so easy for somebody to see something, right? And it's just like like press the red button. Like it says, don't press the red button, and you want to press the red button. So just making sure that I'm constantly monitoring that chat. It's just, I don't know, for me it's just so pivotal because for every second that I'm in there looking and getting rid of the scammers, I feel like I'm saving maybe two or three people, from being drained. And this is which is one of the biggest reasons why when I hop in my truck in the morning, because again, I run a small business, so I own a box truck, so I have, everything's safe. I got my phone on a mount. I put my phone on a mount, I constantly am just scanning the TG, and anything that I see that even looks like a scam is gone, and
Yeah.
if it ends up being a mistake later, we'll address it later. We'll get someone back in. But for me, it's very, very, very pivotal to make sure that these things are removed as soon as they can possibly be removed. Again, because it really hurts when we hear those stories of people getting drained and this, and especially if it was something and HQ that doesn't fly there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we see that time and time again in this space. And especially when it's somebody close to you or a friend, and it's like they lose a lot, because they got scammed.
Absolutely, especially because, at the end of the day, we refer to ourselves as a family, and it hurts even more when one of your family members, because we've got a great brotherhood and sisterhood going in this project, man. Honestly, I just you got to come and hang out with us, maybe hit some more of our spaces. Our relationship is grown to be such a powerful thing, and the last thing that I would ever want to see is one of my brothers or sisters get scammed in the space.
Yeah, I love that. I do need to come and join some stuff, even when I'm working, just sit there and listen. But I need to make my way around a little bit more. Jay, are you back with us?
I might be back. So I'm so sorry. It's being incredibly temperamental right now.
Very temperamental. JSP, so we'll wrap up because I know you're having some difficulties. Stigmatic was having difficulties, and it's very late for you. Then I don't know if Kate will start having technology issues or me, but there's something in the air tonight. Do you want to leave us with any last words for the community,
Sure.
for your team members, for anybody
Sure.
watching?
Firstly, thank you so much to you, Leslie, for having us on Unscripted. It's an absolute honor. And thank you to everybody that's tapping in. Final thoughts that I'd leave you guys with is that this is something special. It's an incredible community, it's an incredible project. There's so much to look forward to in terms of developments for the project as well moving forward. We've got a lot of eyes on us, and of course, we're suffering some market volatility right now. But there's plenty 2 months in, and we continue to build. We're relentless. We've got conviction. We've got that infectious energy amongst us, and we want to enlist every single soldier in this space. We want to enlist you into army. So if you have any further questions, if you guys want to learn a bit more about the project, my DMs are always open. I've always got time for community, and hit me up, you guys. But there's a lot more to come for army. We're going to continue growing, building, and nurturing the culture that the space really needs. So again, Leslie, thank you so very much for having us, and apologies for the interruptions.
No, don't worry. This is what you get when you go live, right? Kate, Stigmatic, and JSP, thank you very much for making it to this episode tonight. I really appreciate all of your insights. And everyone, that's a wrap for tonight's episode of Leslie Mota Unscripted, powered by Meta Warrior and Ilsha Shows. Massive respect to you, General JSP, Colonel Kate Rose, and Major Stigmatic. The Army trifecta proving that loyalty, conviction, and community can outlast any bear market. What you're building isn't just a meme coin movement, it's a mindset. To everyone tuning in, remember, conviction is a new currency. Stay loyal, stay building, and stay unscripted. I'm Leslie Mota. And until next time, keep your heart real, your bags tight, and your purpose louder than the noise. Have an amazing weekend. Bye, guys.
Let's frog
Bye,
and go.
Leslie. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, Leslie.
Thank you
Bye,
so
all.
much.
From silence we rose, from struggle we formed, forged by JSP. United transform. Army, the code, the creed, the flame, strength and honor, remember the name. Step by step, we move as one.
I am Leslie Mota. I am on the ground